Is corner still a need in round 1? Mark.
I don't think it's as big a need. I don't like it. I don't like a cornerback at 6, but possibly 18 still because, Mosley was only a 1-year deal. So you never know. I'd rather they go linebacker, but, it's still an option.
I personally don't think it's that big of a need now. I think they're being flexible in the draft, and I think that's really good for the Detroit Lions. Are we taking Carter if he falls to us, Dan?
Yes. I wouldn't even hesitate. Get up to that board, get Dan Campbell to throw the ticket taker guy up to the mic and get that pick in.
Jordy, and we're going to miss your questions. Just repost it. I'm going to miss it. I'm not ignoring it. I already missed like 10 that just popped up. Jordy Manchin says, #Lines, what is the biggest hole right now? DT, backup, OT, and guard. I'm going to go with defensive tackle right now. I think that is the biggest need for the Detroit Lions. Still have not solidified it, but guess what, folks? We do got the NFL draft, and I think that's where they're going to go in there. We went and signed we signed 2 DBs. We got John Kaminsky back. I think when you look at pick 6, you're looking at Tyree Wilson, Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, one of those guys. One of them's a DT, and if you don't go that way, they can go Kalijah Kancey at 18. So that's a possibility. Yeah. Mark, what do you think is the biggest need for this football team?
I kind of agree with you, Mike. I think defensive tackle is the biggest hole, man. We need some pluggers, man. I really like Mozzie Smith in the 2nd round, so from Michigan. We need some guys that can stop the run, get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback every now and then. Defensive tackle is a huge problem, I think, right now.
Yes, we did sign Will Harris back to a 1-year deal. Will Harris is back to the Detroit Lions. In the smiles go on here from the panel here.
But why? Can you answer that, Mike? I know he's versatile. I know he's your favorite player.
Mark, I'm trying to do a PG show here, okay? You already know this, man. We got a $5 super from Paul the Goat Ginder. He says, #Lines, do you guys think we're going to get a quarterback in free agency? Yes, I do think we're going to get a quarterback in free agency. I like that they're waiting, though, a little bit because I don't want to pay too pricey for a backup. You're seeing, like, what did Mike White go for $10 million? I'm not wanting to do that. I cut that down to, like, 3 to 4. You know what I'm saying? I want a little bit down, so wait a little bit. There's still a lot of people out there, but I do 100% believe we are going a quarterback in free agency. Maybe like a Marcus Mariota possibility, someone I've talked about, or a Cooper Rush, but he may be a little more expensive. Yeah. Seth Hernandez, #Lines, what do you think about the Lions drafting DJ Turner from Michigan? Mark, you're a Michigan man.
Yeah, man. I do like him. He's a smaller guy. He's the fastest kid at the combine. He's a punt returner. A kick returner, I think, in the NFL, probably to start his career. But man, yeah, absolutely, man. He'd be helping the secondary. He's a later round guy though, 3rd, 4th round. But I do like DJ Turner. I'm not really sure I would really target him though.
Jonathan Anton, #would you trade back with Washington if you get this year's first and next year's first round and this year's 2nd round pick? So we get I think they're pick 16, and we get next year's 1st round pick in the 2nd round. I do. Want to know why? Give me another 1st round pick next year, and you don't know how it's going to play out, right? It's like, you know what? If there's a player I like, Mark May, we like May, man. Go ahead and do it. Yeah, I would do that. Dan, what do you think about that?
To me, it would depend on who's there at number 6. If Carter's there, no. Anybody else? Yes, because I'm going to say this draft, and especially with what we've done in free agency, we don't have a ton of visible holes. Maybe some depth. Maybe we can get a little bit better at this position, that position. But if Carter's there, I'm not doing the trade. Anybody else? Phone's open.
I agree. I think Will Anderson and Carter would be the exception. Those guys are absolute stud and a bona fide G. We know that for sure. Philip C. dropping a $4.99 super sticker. Appreciate you with the dog. You are awesome. Absolutely appreciate it. Minshew Mania. A lot of people in the comment section. Would you get Gardner, Minshew, Mark Orum, the piano player?
Yes, man. I would absolutely love Minshew coming in here and back up Jared Goff. He's got starting behind him. He seems like a Dan Campbell guy. He's a character, and he's not a bad quarterback. A good backup quarterback for sure.
Patty Grimes, Dan to the man. Would you trade a 6th-round pick for Matt Corrall, who is potentially on the market, it seems like?
Yeah, why not? 6th round, 7th round. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have a big fight with it one way or another. Of course, keep this in mind. Houston was a 6th-round pick a year ago.
That's it, man.
Frank Ribble, #Lines. Is Brian Branch still a possibility in the first Will Harris role? I honestly don't think so. I like him, but even before what was going on, I was like, I just don't know that's the route they're going to go. Tracy Walker right now, he looks to be good to go for training camp. And you got Kirby Joseph. I think that's just, maybe it's a value type of pick, but probably looking more defensive line at 6 and could be the opposite at 18. Like if you went edge at 6, it could be DT at 18 or a B, John Robinson. I got a question for you, Dan. Jamal Williams signs with another team and you're sitting at 18 and Bijan is there. Would you do it?
Yes, I would. I think he's probably one of the best difference-making running backs I've seen in the last, we'll say, 2 to 3 years. There's not guys in the draft that are vastly different than him, but if you're splitting hairs, he does seem to be the total package. And the best thing I liked about it is when you talk to players who played against him, and you're talking Will Anderson Jr., his statement I thought was great. He was the one guy he hated playing against because everyone on that team knew it took 2 or 3 guys to bring him down. And Williams is going to hold out for big money. You got somebody who's probably an upgrade over Williams, at least from a playing standpoint, and you're going to be able to get him a whole lot cheaper.
Interesting question here from Jordan Moore, because I was talking about this with a fellow friend behind the scenes. If the Lions do not re-sign DJ Chark, is wide receiver at play at 18?
Just for me?
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably be like a Quentin Johnson, right? Or Jordan Addison. I'm guessing. I guess it could be in play. I think it'd be a scary situation with, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Quentin Johnson, possibly. I think it could be an option. I guess it all depends who's really there.
I personally don't want to go the receiver route.
I don't want to do that.
I'm just telling you my personal preference, but I'm not Brad Holmes.
Right.
I don't think so. I think everything's pretty much in play, but let's be real here. It's not a need. Even if Shark leaves, we still got good depth at wide receiver. You traded up for Jamison Williams. You got to use him, right? So, I want Chark back for sure. Maybe they can get a late round wide receiver in a 6th round or something like that to a big body guy. #Lines, can JMO do it all if Chark is gone and return kicks? I don't want him returning kicks. That's my personal preference. Can he do it all? I think that Jamison Williams is going to have obviously a much better year this year. He's actually going to have training camp, off-season workouts. He's going to be working out with Jared Goff at the home. He didn't have none of that last year. There's no connection between him and Jared Goff. It was just throw him in the game. So that's what happened. I think the connection is going to be much improved. Jamison Williams will be looking a lot better. Dan, what do you think about JMO 2023?
I think he's going to be probably a breakout candidate for the year. You can't really call him a comeback player of the year just because really his freshman year, rookie year was kind of really short-lived. But, getting in there in the offseason, like you already pointed out, getting routes down, getting a better understanding of route trees and timing with Goff, I think you're going to see him explode. You saw glimpses of it here and there last year. I think you're going to see a ton of it come next year.
We do got some news here about Aaron Rodgers. He's currently the quarterback of the Packers. He is GM of the Jets, and he's the owner of the Bears. So right now, Karen Rodgers, he's getting it all done, by the way. Can we show some love to Karen by putting Karen in the comment section? This stuff with him, my golly. And I don't even want to spend much time on it. Just put the word Karen in there. The media is going berserk over him. Just put Karen. Let's see. Ranty Q, #Lines. Do you think now that we can get more offensive players in the draft, wide receiver, running back, and offensive guard, still in the 2nd round or lower? Yeah, I think guard is for sure on the table because we're going to lose Evan Brown from what I'm hearing. No doubt about it. You got to replace him because he was integral to the Lions' offensive line, guys. I mean, he had injury to Big V. He plays all positions, and I expect them to look at that. Wide receiver potentially later in the draft if we lose Chark. Running back, it depends on if we lose Jamal Williams. If we don't get Jamal Williams back, I think it's going to be a higher priority than a lot of people expect. I think round 1. Possibility round 1, round 2. What do you think about that, Dan the man?
To me, assuming that Williams doesn't come back, and we'll even say Shark doesn't come back, then you definitely got to replace those guys. Yes, we've got some depth at all those positions, but do you have difference makers at those positions? And then the other part is Evan Brown probably does not get enough credit for what he did last year.
Yeah.
He's a center who made the transition to right guard. And did anybody even really notice him? To me, that's a telling statement of offensive lineman. Nobody notices you out there, good or bad. You're doing your job. And he did it in droves. I think somebody's going to offer him more than we're going to be able or want to give him because he can play 3 of the key positions on the O-line. He can move them around. I mean, that's going to be hard to replace.
Jordy Manchin, at Lions. With Alex Anzalone signing, do we maybe draft a high upside, maybe low floor linebacker to replace him long term? Mark Orum.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's a 3-year deal here. He's probably got an early out. I don't really know the details of the contract. I think this team needs help at the linebacker position. I would love for him to go a middle linebacker early or late. It doesn't really matter to me. I have faith in Brad Holmes finding somebody. So absolutely, man. They're going to have to look for some linebackers in this draft.
We got to get a linebacker in the draft.
Yeah.
Got to get a linebacker in the draft. Got to get a linebacker in draft. That's what I'm saying here. I'd love to get like